what we're asking, the question we're asking the government is, what is, first of all, what is the proper role of government? What is government supposed to do? And serve the people. That's true, but not really. Actually, government isn't there to serve the people. Why do we have a Constitution? Why do we have a Constitution in the United States? Who cares? We have a Constitution, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union. So in order to help us form a union of people, and the Mayflower Compact said that, because it said, by the grace of God, we, individual people here, by signing this document, we are joining a political body. In other words, did government create people so that they could rule over us? No. People created government. This was not a land filled with government waiting for us to show up so we could be ruled over. This was a land filled with people who created government in order to do what? In order to protect the liberty we hold most dear. We have a Constitution of the United States to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Why do we have a Constitution in California? Because we need junior high schools? Because we need someone to tell us what kind of tires we can buy? I mean, we have a Constitution in California for one reason. We, the people of the state of California, grateful to Almighty God for our freedom, that to secure and perpetuate its blessings, we established this Constitution. We have one reason to have a Constitution in California: to secure the blessings of liberty. Now, where did those blessings come from? In other words, I said to a judge one time, we have pre-constitutional God-given rights. I thought she was going to blow an aorta right there in court. I really did. She said, we don't have God-given rights, we have constitutional rights. And I say what those are. I've had federal judges say that all the time. Well, the Constitution means whatever I say it does. We don't deal with the Constitution here. I'm the law in this court. Well, you know, those things are wrong, and they're wrong on many levels. First of all, William Blackstone defined it originally in his first treatise on law when he said that there are two principles in the law. There are rights and there are wrongs. And rights belong to the people. Government can't have rights. Nowhere in the Constitution, nowhere in the codes of California, nowhere in the California Constitution, nowhere in the Declaration of Independence, nowhere in any document signed by the United States government does it stipulate that the government has the right to do anything. Governments can't have rights. Governments are the object of the contract written by the states, demanded by the people of those states. In other words, the original jurisdiction is with the Lord, because where did the concept of liberty come from? It comes from Leviticus 25:10. Proclaim liberty throughout the land and to all the inhabitants therein. So liberty is a Christian concept, a Jewish concept, and a Christian concept that comes from God, from the Bible. How could anyone give law? Who has the jurisdiction to give law? Well, no legislature. It has to be a superior being to everyone in this room, to everyone in the world. That can only be God. God delivers the law. God delivers the authority. God delivers the jurisdiction. And we have the right to exercise that liberty. And it is pre-governmental. How do you know that? Well, I can prove it. And I've tried proving it to judge after judge after judge. I can prove that right now. We, the people, grateful to Almighty God for our freedom, we established this Constitution. Well, if we're grateful to God for our freedom, and then we established the Constitution, what came first, the freedom or the Constitution? The freedom did. We hold these truths to be self-evident. In other words, no one taught it to us. As Marcus Cicero said, some laws aren't written except in the hearts of men. Among those is the right to defend yourself without giving way. William Blackstone called that one of the natural rights. Natural rights as opposed to relative rights. You have the relative right to go fast in a school zone. But we've delegated that authority to government to say, well, that's not safe and kids could get killed. But you have the absolute natural right. In other words, there are relative rights and natural rights. Samuel Adams defined the natural rights as life, liberty, and property, together with the means to defend those things the best that we can. And so if we hold these truths to be self-evident, that means we weren't taught by anybody. We didn't read them in a code book or in a law book. that all men are created equal, that they were endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. California Constitution, Article 1, Section 1 says roughly the same thing, probably a little weaker T, but it's kind of the same thing. So we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that governments, to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. Well, what is the purpose of government? To secure the rights of the governed. When was the Declaration of Independence written? Before we had the Articles of Confederation and before we had the United States Constitution. So the Declaration of Independence is our founding document, and that predates the government. And in that document it said God gave us our rights, and they are inalienable rights. Murdoch v. Pennsylvania says that rights cannot be turned into permissions, nor can a fee be charged for the exercise of a right. Well, if that's true, what in the living heck are we doing here tonight? Because government defies the Constitution. Government defies your liberty. Government defies your right. And that's what I'm doing here tonight. I demand our liberty. I'm not asking for it, I'm demanding it. And believe me, folks, this has less to do with the gun than it does the liberty. I mean, where I live, we do whatever we want with our guns anyway. It's not really an issue. And I was a reserve deputy sheriff for a long time. I stopped people that had guns all the time. I mean, half the ranchers in the valley have a rifle loaded in a rack in the truck, and you stop them for speed and you say, hey, Ben, is that gun loaded? Yeah, pretty stupid to carry an empty gun, isn't it? You go, okay, just curious, you know, and that'd be it. So what this case is going to do, we hope, is to hold the feet of government to the fire. We're going to restore our liberty, and the point of this is to restore that liberty. Because if one guy and a lot of people helping, and one attorney who was the only attorney I found, and I called hundreds of them, hundreds. I found one attorney that would take this case, and she was from New York. No California attorney would touch this case, not one. Because they all said, if I take that case and we win, I'll never work again in California. And I thought to myself, if you take this case and win, you're never going to have to look for a client again in your life. But there was a difference of opinion. So my team, as Patrick puts it, is one lawyer. My wife, myself, all of you, which makes the team pretty darn big. And I am grateful again from the bottom of my heart for that. But we have one lawyer. Every cent, we have no paid staff. I pay my own travel. I buy my hamburger out of my own pocket. Every cent goes to pay the bills for the lawyer. I don't touch the money. I don't see the money. I don't even know what bank it's in. It goes to Pecan. Linda insists on invoices before she'll pay anything. I get the bill from the lawyer. I forward it to Linda. She writes the check to the lawyer. That's the way I demanded it had to be done. I never wanted any question about where the money was going or what it was going for. Penal Code 25850 says that you are committing a crime if you leave your home with your loaded firearm exposed in public. Now, I'm sorry, but the Second Amendment says something else. It says a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. That's kind of a funny way to say something, isn't it? A well-regulated militia is a good thing, and the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Why not that? Why not that? Because a well-regulated militia is required. It's required equipment. It is necessary. Why? Because if government is to secure the rights of the people, don't we need a faction of the people to hold government accountable when they take those rights? Yes, we do. So Penal Code 25850 banned the Second Amendment, and I remember when I was a kid, we all open carried. My dad open carried all the time. Nobody cared. Last time I rode my motorcycle back to Sturgis, I put my gun on outside my pants in Reno, rode all the way to South Dakota, all the way back, and you know what? No one even looked at it. No one cared, no one made a comment. It was absolutely inconsequential. And that's the same thing it used to be here. And we've allowed that right to be taken from us. That's water under the bridge. We can't fix that part. But we can regain our liberty if we fight hard enough for it. This is a nation of Christian values. built by Christian men and women to preserve the liberty that the Lord gave us, and the first of the natural rights is the ability to defend yourself and your family from whoever would harm you. And the last case, Wolford v. Lopez, defined that even more strictly. What is a weapon? It is anything you can use to strike at another human being in the event of conflict, or you need to defend yourself or those around you. Anything. What does wear mean? What does bear mean? It means carry it. It doesn't say wear. Carry it outside your pants, inside your pants. There were no regulations in 1791. What does to keep mean? It means to own it. So you can own the weapon and you can carry it. That is your God-given right. I hear my timer. My time is up. So my case, I hope to prove this to the satisfaction of the United States Supreme Court, and that's the case. Now, where is it now? It's in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. I won in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals 2-1. The en banc panel, which in the last 135 years has ruled against the Second Amendment 100% of the time, reversed the win that I had in front of the three-judge panel, reheard the case. I'm waiting for them to drop the other shoe now. I am sure they will rule against me because they've done that 100% of the time in the last 100 years. I think we have a pretty good shot at getting this case in front of the Supreme Court, and all I need to do is be able to pay. And that's the tough part about it, be able to pay. And you know, Patrick Henry said it best. He said, what would gentlemen have? In other words, he's standing in front of a room like this. The fight is on. I mean, they're fighting in Boston already. And he talks about, you can hear the guns from here. He talks about all kinds of things. But then in the end, he looks at the room and he says, what do you people want? And they all yelled, peace, peace. We want peace, because the war was on. And he said, peace. He said, there's no peace. He said, can't you hear it? And he said, I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming.